Oh, hey there. Come on in. We're just about to start. Welcome to My Wife the Dietitian, a fun weekly podcast about nutrition and healthy lifestyle. I'm Rob, and together with my wife Sandra, we invite you to join us on this informative and entertaining journey through the complex world of healthy eating.
Join us each week as we strive to help you with transforming your overall health and relationship with food through up-to-date, evidence-based nutrition information. Is diet soda better than regular? What about artificial sweeteners, sugar substitutes, and other alternatives to regular sugar? How do they fit into a healthy eating plan and lifestyle? We address all of these concepts as we answer a question from a listener.
Enjoying the show? You can help others find it and enjoy it too by giving us a 5-star rating or review. If you feel like reaching out to us with a question or comment, you can send us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at mywifethedietitian.com, as well as our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy the show. Welcome to My Wife the Dietitian. Hello, Sandra.
Hello, Rob.
How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. What's on board for this week?
Well, we got a question from a listener, so I thought I'd discuss it, answer it, and do an episode around it.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
What's the question?
I'll read it. I'm a longtime listener. Love your show. Thank you very much. My husband has type 2 diabetes, and he used to drink regular pop, and now he drinks a diet pop daily. Is this going to increase his risk of cancer? What are your thoughts?
Excellent. What are my thoughts?
That was a question to us.
Oh, they probably want you to answer that.
Yeah, it's a loaded question.
I'll just chime in from time to time with some smart comments.
Yeah.
Awesome. My thought is a lot of people assume diet pop is better for you.
Right.
Right? Because is there no sugar in it? Is that the deal? Or is that a sugar-free? Everything's changed. It used to be just pop, but now and then there's like diet pop and sugar-free and like 0 calorie, and it's all very confusing.
It is. But we're going to talk a little bit about artificial sweeteners because that's kind of diet pop is made with artificial sweeteners. So they're artificial and they don't contribute calories. So in theory, they should help with weight loss and possibly with blood sugar control. But all of that is coming into question recently.
Yeah, okay.
And, it's interesting to think that people who drink lots of diet soda are more likely to be overweight, despite taking in less sugar and fewer calories.
That's a stat. They are more overweight, typically? People who drink lots of diet pop? Mm-hmm. No, really?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Diet soda drinkers are typically heavier than the general population. So is it because they're overweight to begin with and turn to diet sodas to help them shed the pounds? Or some researchers suggest that maybe because they taste sweeter than sugar, artificial sweeteners train your taste buds to prefer very sweet foods. So you end up eating more sweet foods because you are accustomed to that sweet flavor.
Oh, interesting.
And so that it drives you to eat more sweets.
Right.
And calories. And also the rationalization that people have in their mind. Well, I had a diet soda, so I can have an extra slice of pizza kind of thing.
No, right. That's true. I was thinking maybe they think that it's better for them so they can drink more of it. Or they
maybe that too.
Yeah. All of the above.
All of the above.
Answer E, all of the above.
That's right. Yeah. And so the question is, will drinking diet pop daily cause an increased risk of cancer? So that's a really good question because I think that is some of the common claims that we hear a lot about, that artificial sweeteners can increase risk of cancer, and can increase risk of cardiovascular disease, can maybe disrupt the metabolism and glucose tolerance, and possibly disrupt microbiome, and also can increase risk of obesity. So all of these questions are out there in terms of like, it's a very controversial issue. And there's like two camps pretty much, like basically people saying,
well, there'd be the yes camp and the no camp.
That's right. That's right. And, you know, it's a very big industry. So there's a lot of money tied up with the soda pop industry, diet and regular.
Yeah, I bet. It's just like, one of those big, huge industries, and they got a lot of money to sort of fight their cause and convince everyone that it's good for you.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not just in pop, right? Or soda. It's in other foods too. We call it pop in Canada, and
yeah, in the States, in
it's
the US.
soda.
I don't know what it is in the rest of the world. I think in like Britain or Australia or something, they call it like fizzies or something like that. There's another term that they have, and I apologize if you're from those countries and I'm completely out to lunch on the name.
Maybe
but
we should look that up. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I thought it was soda.
Send us a message and correct me. There you go.
That would be
Fill
good.
us in on what they're called in your country.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we going to discuss maybe some of the other potential health concerns of drinking diet pop, other than just its cause of like risk for cancer?
Well, yeah, I just mentioned those other ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with the metabolism, with microbiome, with obesity and cardiovascular disease.
Okay, there we go.
And in the last episode, or one recent episode about getting away from hangry land or helping prevent that hangry feeling, one of our recommendations, number 5, was about reducing sugar sweetened beverages. So, reducing the overly processed foods and added sugar foods. So that would be like regular pop. But at the same time, having diet pop might not be a good solution. But it depends on what's happening with your husband. And I'm talking to the listener here.
Okay.
The reason I said it was a loaded question is, let's see what else is going on. Like, what else is he eating and drinking? What's the overall diet quality and pattern of eating? And you kind of have to start from where you're at. So he's already made some strides with not drinking regular pop every day, because that will probably help with his blood sugar control right there by, having the diet pop, because it's not going to raise the blood sugar after drinking it, like the 8 to 10 teaspoons of sugar in a regular pop would. But at the same time, artificial sweeteners are artificial. So, water or other beverages are much better and healthier if it's a health question.
Yeah, that always makes sense.
Yeah. So the most popular artificial sweeteners are, number 1 is aspartame. And that's the one in Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi. And it's 200 times sweeter than sugar. And
really? Wow.
it is the one that tastes closest to sugar, like regular sucralose, which is table sugar. And it's approved for use in 100 countries, over 100 countries. And it's been the most tested and evaluated for safety.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what the one common theme with all these artificial sweeteners is? And it's so interesting, is the chemists working in the lab with whatever chemical, they licked their fingers without washing their hands and found that it was sweet. So isn't that so funny?
They got lucky. It's a good thing they didn't find that it was poisonous.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's so interesting. Like in 1965, the chemist was looking for an antacid or an anti-ulcer medication in the lab, James Slatter, and he licked his fingers without washing his hands. So like he was just picking up a piece of paper, licked his fingers first.
It's probably a big no-no as a chemist when you're like,
Yeah.
right? All the other chemists just roll their eyes and like, he's licking his fingers again. He's totally just like disrupted the whole experiment. It's got saliva in it. And
Oh, I know, exactly. That's too funny. But there's no long-term human studies with aspartame, even though it's been rigorously studied and it's safe in over 100 countries, meaning it's for sale and approved for use in over 100 countries.
right. Okay. But not necessarily. That doesn't mean it's good for you.
Yeah, exactly. And the dose makes the poison. I shouldn't say that, but seriously, it is all about like how much you're having. And so this listener's husband is having 1 diet pop a day, which is probably fine. It's definitely fine in terms of the approved use and the safety. We just don't know the long-term effects. And what else maybe you could be drinking more water, or maybe green tea, or having other fluids that are healthier for you. So what are you replacing when you're drinking the diet pop?
Right, exactly.
But you're not drinking the regular pop. So that might be a good strategy for someone who has diabetes and trying to control the blood sugars.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess there's no benefits to drinking pop in the first place, though, other than it's convenient and it's probably inexpensive.
And I think people get addicted to that taste.
You totally do.
And that's another thing, right?
Addicted to the idea of this, the same as coffee every morning. It's like, it's you get addicted to not only the taste and the flavor, but just the idea of consuming that beverage at that time. And people probably think, oh, when I eat lunch, I drink a pop, and when I go to a restaurant, I order a pop. And
yeah, it's just part of their routine.
Or a soda.
Right, exactly.
Or a fizzy.
So the aspartame's also in sugar-free desserts and low-cal yogurts. It's the brand you probably know as Equal or NutraSweet.
Oh, the little packets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not good for baking because it is unstable with high heat.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm. So the next most popular artificial sweetener is sucralose, which is like Splenda is the name.
Splenda.
And that's in Diet Pop too.
What's the one that's like really popular that people, I don't know, maybe the most...
Aspartame.
Yeah, no, I'll know it when you say it. I'll stay quiet here for a minute.
That's okay.
So Splenda, is that the one you just said?
That's right. Okay. Yeah. It's 600 times sweeter than sucrose, or table sugar.
Wow. And what was the other one? 20 times? Stronger?
Aspartame is 200 times.
Right, 200. And this is 600.
Wow. 600 times. Yeah.
That's why you just need a little bit. That's why they come in those little packets.
Yeah. It's the most potent. And interesting little background story on how it was used in Pepsi.
Okay.
Pepsi switched its formula from using aspartame before 2015. From 2015 to 2018, they used sucralose instead, and they basically switched back because they had a decrease in their sales. People didn't quite like the taste as much, I guess.
Oh, interesting. I wonder why they switched in the first place.
Good question. Different formulation and maybe the cost.
Yeah, probably. Usually money driven, right?
Yeah, a lot of this is definitely. And the other thing with Splenda or sucralose, it's sucrose and chlorine, and it could cause problems with digestion. So people might have abdominal or...
From ingesting chlorine, really? Interesting.
Well, it's small amount, remember?
Yeah,
and it's gone through a rigorous testing and FDA approval and evaluated for safety. But at the same time, it could cause problems with gut health. They did do studies with looking at the microbiome, and sucralose and aspartame and stevia and saccharine, that we're going to talk about in a minute, did alter the microbiome from looking at stool samples and fecal transplants.
Oh, fun stuff. How do you sign up for those jobs? Or is that like the chemist that's been like the new guy has to do that job? Okay, you're on fecal transplants this week. You were late for work last week, so down you go to the fecal transplant room and the stool sample room. And keep those fingers out of your mouth.
You're so funny.
Who gets that job?
No.
Actually, it's probably the guy who licks his fingers. And that's how they teach him. Some sweet karma. Yeah.
Oh, I know. But, lots of things change the microbiome. That's the thing. And it's pretty much disrupted by most things we do, and it can be affected. So that's a whole nother discussion, but like stress and inadequate sleep, what the quality of our diet and what we're eating and drinking, like
Diet pop,
alcohol, like those things all can affect your microbiome. So yeah. Anyways, so that's all right. And so what was the third one? Oh yeah, the third one is the third most commonly used, but actually the first one that was ever discovered. You've heard of saccharine.
Saccharine. That was like, my mom used to use that when I was a kid. She had this little pill box in her purse that she'd pull out when she was at a restaurant and drop these little pills in her coffee, and everyone kind of wondered what they were, but no one ever said anything.
Oh yeah. That was the original, and that's from 1879.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
It's like way back.
Yeah, and it's had like the whiplash of FDA approval, non-approval. Like originally it was never approved, and the chemist was
licking his fingers again.
Looking
was
at
it that guy?
The
Hopefully it wasn't the same guy that was doing the stool samples. He's like, oh darn, I forgot. I thought I was in the sugar lab today, but oopsie.
So he was looking at coal tar derivatives, like creosote, and then realized that he licked his fingers. He was eating his sandwich, and it was sweet.
I guess they didn't have those signs that they have up in all like the subways reminding the employees to wash their hands before they touch their food. That's probably why they did it. So people need to be reminded, I guess.
Yeah.
Although, look at all the good things that have happened from the people who didn't wash their hands. We wouldn't have saccharine. Or whatever the other, what was the other one? The other guy that licked his fingers, he found
aspartame and sucralose.
All these things we wouldn't have. So I guess there's well, maybe is it good that we have these, or is it not good? We haven't reached the verdict yet. Okay, once Sandra contains herself here, we'll keep going.
You're funny. Well, saccharine is sweet and low.
Oh, right. In the little yellow package.
Yeah.
Sweet and low.
Yeah.
What does the low mean?
Low calorie.
Oh, okay.
It's sweet, but low calorie.
Oh.
But it's interesting. It's, it's in diet sodas, and it has a bitter metallic aftertaste. And it's got a long, convoluted history of the scientist that discovered it. And then he patented it because he's like, oh my God, I've discovered like an alternative to sugar.
Yeah, like that. That's a big deal though.
Yeah.
I get it. I'd be excited.
Yeah. And then Monsanto produced and marketed it.
They got smart, bought it out.
Right. So yeah, that's an interesting history. And also it was, like I said, the checkered past of on the market before there was FDA approval. And then it was taken off the market because it was deemed that it was unsafe. And then it was cheaper than sugar after the war or during the war. And
so they started using it again?
Exactly. Yeah, so economics, right?
Right.
So interesting how a lot of this is about economics and not necessarily human health and safety.
I don't think human health is ever number one priority. I think it always takes a backseat to money and politics. That's just my opinion, though. Yeah,
no, they've pretty much artificial sweeteners are, subject of ongoing research and debate.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really interesting that, it's part of our culture, diet soda, diet pop, and all these artificial sweeteners that go into foods that we eat. And really, our bottom line is, as usual, try to have more whole foods, minimally processed, less of the foods that have added sugars or artificial sweeteners.
Right, because that's just the processed foods, right? Well, ultra processed foods or highly processed or...
Yeah, and we don't really know the long-term effects, right? They still are studying, and they've all been rigorously studied, and it looks like the amount that people are taking in is safe and okay, But there's also all these other things that we don't know, like the long-term effects. And maybe, as I mentioned, like maybe it tricks your brain so that you eat more sweet foods during the day. If you've had the artificial sweetener or you've had diet pop, because then you're craving those sweet foods. And that's the whole thing. We've talked about that before with your gut bugs are kind of craving. They're telling your brain what to eat, and also your taste buds. If you're always eating sweet foods and you're used to the taste of candy and sweet food, like ultra sweet foods, that's what you're going to gravitate towards. So maybe that's why diet soda drinkers tend to be overweight.
Interesting. It was stevia that was the one I was curious about, because you hear a lot of people talking about that. A lot of people who are sort of health conscious and following this rigorous kind of healthy diet, they're using stevia. And I don't know if there's some, I don't know, is there some reputation of it being like the healthier of the artificial sweeteners?
Yes, and it's not artificial. It's plant. It's like a natural. It's a plant.
Oh, that's why.
And it's a sweetener. So it's not. It does add sweetness, similar to honey and maple syrup.
Okay, so it's from a natural source then.
Yes.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and monk fruit's another one that you've probably heard of. That
monk fruit.
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard of that.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll do a whole nother episode on those ones. Also, sugar alcohols. You've heard of those, like xylitol, sorbitol.
Yeah.
Some of them are actually naturally in some fruit, but a lot of the sugar alcohols are added to chewing gum, for instance.
Right.
And like diabetic candies.
Oh, okay.
And the thing with sugar alcohols are they go through your body and they're not digested. And so I've had many clients in the past that have IBS or irritable bowel syndrome or other problems with digestion and bloating and gas. And we've looked at their diet like with a fine tooth comb and then realize it's the chewing gum that they're having daily that is actually causing their gas and bloating. And once they took that away, then things really improved.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the sugar alcohols. And
oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're like a detective. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's what I have
Holy
to
moly.
do.
Wow.
Well, it's hard to, there's so many things that people eat and are doing every day, but that's one that stands out because it can be an easy solution. Mm-hmm. And the same goes for the diet pop and, drinking diet pop or regular pop, just changing that one thing can really improve your overall diet quality and your overall health and possibly gut health too. And I've seen it with clients. So it's a tricky question to answer. It's probably better, like the diet pop versus the regular for his blood sugar control. Like it's definitely better. And it's he's not getting calories from it. But at the same time, is there a way for him to move towards drinking more water and less, like maybe not a daily diet pop, like maybe go for every second day or, that kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wean it out. Because there's no benefits. There's no health benefits from drinking pop. So you're not doing your body any good, but you're saying one's not going to hurt you too much, but it's not going to benefit you either. So
yeah, exactly. And that's the thing with so many things with behavior change and, like trying to help people move in the direction of healthier behaviors because it is our daily habits that affect our overall health. Mm-hmm. And if that's a daily habit, then, it's definitely better than it used to be with the regular pop. But is it ideal? No.
Yeah. Good answer.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. Awesome. Well, thanks for explaining all that, sharing those stories of, actually, what it made me think of is Kentucky Fried Chicken and the finger looking good. I wonder if that was, if there's some relationship to all of this, some guy tripped over that and they took that slogan and
they were just licking their fingers.
They were making cookies or something. And the guy licked his fingers and was like, oh, this would be good on chicken. And who knows?
Right.
We'll have to do an episode on that someday. Actually,
Absolutely.
there is a big story about that whole Kentucky Fried Chicken thing. I don't remember what it is, but I remember there's some sort of story about the ingredients they use or the batter or something. I'll have to look that up. Anywho, that's it for this week. You can join us. Join us on our website. Go check that out. We've got all sorts of things going on there. We've got some, lots of blog articles, full library full of different things on there. You can join our newsletter that we're doing once a week now, and that's really good. There's all sorts of information there, updates. I share a recipe every week, things that I enjoy cooking and playing around with in the kitchen.
I enjoy eating.
While I'm licking my fingers, I'm like, ooh, this is good. We'll put this in the newsletter. Yeah, there's links to the newsletter on our website, so check that out. Join up. That's for free. You can also find us on social media. We're on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, and if you found this useful and helpful, please tell one family member or a friend or someone you work with and share it with them so that they can benefit from the information and maybe help someone in their life too.
Absolutely. And don't forget to rate and review the show. That's something else that helps not only us, but it helps other people find the show. And if you have questions like our listener today did and our listener last week did and the week before, send us an email. We're happy to hear to field your questions, and we love hearing your comments and your feedback. It's super helpful for us. So feel free to shoot us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And the website, if I didn't mention it before, is mywifethedietitian.com. So that's it for this week. We will be back on Wednesday with our midweek mini episode, Nutrition Nuggets. So until then, have a great week, everyone.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.